Hello.
Hello, world.
Welcome to another episode of Shots. Today, we're going to be movie reviewing Crimes of the Future 2022 film, drama, horror, sci-fi.
Hell yeah.
Writer and director?
David Croenberg.
Yes.
A great, great Canadian.
A great man.
The world would be more interesting if more people were like him. But not always good.
Yeah.
Because this movie kinda sucked.
Yeah. Who was in the movie, Max? Your favy?
Viggo Mortensen?
Yes.
Oh, God. Hidalgo?
And
a frequenter of David Croenberg because he's in History of Violence.
Yeah.
Eastern Promises.
They're friends.
They must be friends. They make good movies.
Scott Speedman was in it.
Of course. Totally.
Kristen Stewart was in it.
Stewart, which we didn't like, right?
I didn't. The way she spoke, she was so bad for the film, and the way she spoke made me want to hit her in her face. Like, there's been memes making fun of her.
Good.
Online, because it was so uncomfortable how she talked.
Let's get into the tea of Hollywood. Why is she famous?
She did Twilight.
I know that. I'm saying, how did she get to the top? She's not a great actress.
She did a lot of indie films before she did Twilight, and I think she was right for the role of Bella, and then that just skyrocketed her into
But then she continues to get thrown into things.
Because now she's a megastar.
I know.
You know?
And you know what? More power to her, I say. We all want a Bella.
Fat money. I heard she smells really bad though.
Look at her. You could tell that.
Yeah.
She looks unwashed.
They said when her and Robert Pattinson dated on Twilight.
Kidding. For the record, I would date her in a heartbeat. I don't want to be.
Lesbian.
Is she?
Yeah, she's engaged.
I've heard it all before.
There you go, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Anyways. The first scene of the movie was beautiful. The location with on the water, and like there was like ships and like a statue.
Yes.
And I didn't know what any of that meant, and they never addressed that in the film. It was definitely like a dystopian, futuristic world, society.
And you're introduced to our little boy.
We're introduced to a little boy. I don't know where it was at all in the world. Right,
because a lot of his movies are like either filmed in, I think, Toronto.
Yeah.
Or like the more big budget Hollywood ones. But he's first and foremost a weird art house Canadian filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who does sweet body horror movies. And he's 79 now, right?
Yeah.
Making a movie is tough.
I don't hate body horror, but
I love body horror.
This was like on the ocean.
First scene.
Which looked like Italy.
Oh, not first scene. The whole movie. That's right.
Yeah. And then there was also like a port area that was like very train industrial.
Right. It was.
And then there was the desert where Viggo lived.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like the city, the inner city, that was like very downtown. So I was like, are we in LA? Are we in Canada? Are we in Italy?
Yeah.
Where are we? We're in the future.
I mean, it is weird. It's all bleak.
It could be a fake place. Just like name it.
I hear you.
You know? That annoyed me.
I hear you.
I think, okay. I read it was written in the 90s, correct?
Yes.
But it was made in 2022. Which I think makes sense for it being a 2022 film. This versus Don't Look Up, I preferred more because it did touch on climate change, water crisis. It touched on environmental issues.
Yeah, but it didn't put a shotgun in your face about it.
Exactly.
So hey, credit to them there. They tried. It was like subtle, unique, cool, a different take. It was like a good example of, all right, anybody can talk about like environmental crisis. Say it differently. Yeah. Say the same thing, but say it differently. It was
almost like he got a prompt for like make a film about environmental crisis, a world with environmental crisis, and it's like seeing what he would have done. It was interesting.
That's all. See, this is that.
I liked the concept.
This is that line of I love boring art house movies, but there has to be a little pizzazz in them because like, I want more of these movies. I want them, and it sucks when they don't work. But at the end of the day, a boring art house movie also has to have checked off other boxes, like where they are, like all those things, like something I can relate to humanistically, and this did not have.
It was also, it felt, because the world was similar. The world built was similar to Mad Max in that resources were light. It felt more like a lawless world, but the technology, which was so advanced, looked like something out of Star Wars. It looked gross.
It looked weird.
And I didn't like it.
I don't know if I'll back you up on Mad Max comparison. Mad Max is like dystopian in Australia. Australia doesn't...
I categorize them in the same.
Fair.
In my brain.
You do you. I'm not going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
If you feel strongly about it. One thing we could talk about, which we mentioned in the theater, the scenes with Viggo Mortensen and a detective. He's talking to a detective. Were shot so badly.
Yeah.
And like the acting was off.
Yeah.
And it was just this weird, like, is this a high school production? What is happening? Because it's Viggo Mortensen, my love, and David Croenberg. But then it's like, wait a minute, this is awful.
I think it was casted bad.
Those scenes were bad. We also saw it with a deaf person in the audience, so we had subtitles going on, and there's so much wheezing in this movie.
Thank God there were subtitles.
What? I don't need to see that as wheezing.
Oh, I don't need to see that part, but there were some things I probably wouldn't have understood what they were saying.
Probably. But that was like a little minor distraction of like, all right, you're in this dystopian world, he's wheezing because he's dying. But then it's like, wheezing, coughing. I'm like, rah. But
I
such is life.
I think it was half poorly casted. I think that the girl who played his like girlfriend, I really liked her and her acting. That was his assistant.
Right. Not Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, and she had an interesting character arc of like she wanted to mutilate herself for beauty, which was crazy because she was beautiful. Pain
has gone out of existence. Nobody feels pain, and the line in it is surgery is the new sex.
Yeah, it's more of like a desirable. It's interesting.
It's an interesting concept. Again, interesting
executed
ideas.
Bad. And like the
True.
bad guys, we didn't realize were like bad guys till like halfway through.
Yes.
Like I didn't know what the motivation was there.
Here's my issue. This is the thing. Life's short. You gotta choose your movies. David Croenberg has a catalog. Don't put this at the bottom. Go see. He did a movie called Crash, which is kind of relating to the surgery sex thing, where Crash is about people who get off on car accidents and body mutilations, and it's so weird and so twisted, but you're like, I'm into this. This is cool that somebody's making this movie. Same with, he did Videodrome, which is a super famous body horror, weird, philosophical, like talks about the viewer of the screen and all that stuff, but does it well executed.
Do you think Cronenberg's a freak?
Yes, 100%. He makes some weird where.
Do you think his partner like watches his stuff and is like?
I bet they know. I bet that partner sought David Cronenberg out. Go see all those movies: Videodrome, Crash, History of Violence, Eastern Promises, the Scanners, Naked Lunch. There's a bunch of other ones. Then see this one and be like, he's 79. He kind of missed the mark. And for that, I give it a 4 out of 10. Now you've kind of almost swung me to be like a little more lenient on it, but
I give it a 4.5.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, out of 10. Because I loved the concept, and I thought the world that they built was really interesting. I just think it was executed really bad, and there were like a lot of distracting elements that annoyed me.
Ain't it true news, baby?
So, yeah.
It's sad.
If you're in an art house, support it, watch it, but don't. It's not his best.
Not his best.
That's what they all say.
And let's all try and find out what his. Never mind.
What's his fetish?
What's his fetish?
What's his kink? We're not kink shaming. We just want to know.
Yeah. Come on.
Bye.
Oh. Whoops.
That's fine. I keep saying something.
Bye, team.
Ah, yes. How lovely.